guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Nancy from nancybadillo.com and welcome to another episode of Etsy Shop Critique. Today I'm going to do a critique on the store called Gem's Garden. So thank you, Joyce, for letting me do a review on your shop. So the first thing I've been wanting to address on every critique from here on is taxes. As a new Etsy seller, whether you sell a lot or you sell few, you will need to file taxes quarterly. It's important that you start learning about it, you talk to a local CPA, and you sign up for some automated software where you could keep track of all your receipts, of all your expenses, and also of all your sales. I highly recommend using QuickBooks. That's what I use, and it's really nice. It keeps everything together in one place, and then you can also make payments through it to the IRS when it's the payment is due quarterly, 4 times a year. I will leave a link to QuickBooks on this video on below. You'll see a little box. If you click in there, you'll see all the links and resources that I'm talking about throughout the video. But I do highly recommend that you sign up for it because it's something important for you to do as an Etsy seller. I did a listing audit on this actual listing here. So the first thing I want to talk about is product photography. And this is the most important factor when a potential buyer is going to buy. It's more important than the price, more important than any reviews that you currently have, more important than shipping costs. So it's important that your pictures are compelling, that they showcase the product really, really well, and that the person, when they look at the product, they like, wow, I need to get that. Now, the picture, the actual product looks really nice. It's clear, and the picture comes out clear. However, if I was a potential buyer, I would prefer to see the sapphire on a ring because then I could see the actual size. I could see how the scale of it in my hand. I could see how it looks. And it's important that when you're selling something of this magnitude with such a high price tag, that you showcase and you're able to showcase like a common object for scale. So I would prefer if it was in a finger. That way the person could actually see how exactly it would look. I would use natural light, of course, when you take the picture, no flash. That way it doesn't interfere with the sapphire. And I will also use a clear, simple background. This picture is good for like the fourth or fifth image, but you want to make sure that the first one is eye catching. Just they see it, they know automatically, they know what it is. Right now, it could be an earring, it could be pretty much anything. I guess you could technically use it for anything, I'm assuming. However, a lot of people are visual, so they need to see it on an how it would look on the actual finger. If it's meant to be for also for earrings or something else, then they need to see it. So I highly recommend changing your pictures to something that showcases the item being worn because of the type of jewelry that you're actually, or type of stone that you're actually selling. I will also add a call to action, like a little image with text saying click here to favor this item, only because now Etsy has that new feature that whenever someone favors your items, they get a notification saying whenever you add new items or you have anything on promotion, they get those automatic notifications. So it's just a good way to kind of drive potential buyers that actually like your product to come back to your store, and hopefully they'll make a sale at that given moment. I will also add a call to action saying click below to view listing description and to learn more about this item. And that's almost like telling the customer to click below to learn more about it. Therefore, they spend more time on your page. They'll actually read the listing description to learn more about your product, and hopefully that will build the credibility and trustworthiness to go ahead and order from your shop. So these are my recommendations for the photo. The next thing you want to do is work on SEO. So I know that was one of the things that you were referring to, that you weren't sure how to do it properly. So my recommendation is using a software called, or a website called XErank. It's free. You don't have to pay anything for it. And also, you could do the paid version if you wanted as well, and it'll give you more analytics. but the free one is good enough, to be honest with you. Now with XC you're able to go in there, plug in your website, and there's so many things that you could do. It's not only for keyword search, you could do so many other things. Once you go in there, you could kind of play with it and you'll see. Um, so what I did was just an audit on the listing that we were talking about, and these are the current keywords that you currently have. My first suggestion is one, don't use your store name as a keyword. Your store is not popular at the current moment doesn't mean that it wouldn't be in the future, but the current moment is not popular enough for you to use your name. That means that not too many people are searching you for your name. You will only want to put your name as a key tag or as a tag if you are very, very popular and people are constantly searching for you and you make tons of sales. That's when you want to use your name. Secondly, you don't want to use keywords or tags that are too broad. So anniversary gift is very, very broad. That could be anything. And an anniversary gift could be a dress, it could be shoes, it could be jewelry, it could be a blanket, it could be a book bag, it could be a candle. So therefore, when you are very broad in your terms, what happens is that you are targeting everybody and anybody. You're not finding your target audience because now you're just targeting anybody. And the reason why it says very high is because there's a lot of people using that same terminology. So if you were to go to xcrank.com, I'm sorry, to the XC homepage, and you were to type in anniversary gift, you will notice that there's 613,000 other listings using that same keyword. So therefore, if you try to rank organically, it's going to be extremely hard for you. If you were to run an XC ad, your cost per click is going to be high also because there's a lot of other people competing for the same keyword. And most likely you won't be on the first page of the search results for XC. You might show up on the fourth or fifth or even like somewhere, in the middle somewhere out of the 250 plus pages that they have. So it's going to be a very hard word. One, hard word to compete for, and two, is very broad. As you can see, there's so many different things you could buy as an anniversary gift. They even have cutting boards. So you're not really targeting your audience. You have to be able to use keywords that are targeting people that are actually looking for what you're looking for. You have a lot of them that are very just very broad. Gift for her, September gift, Thanksgiving jewelry. um this one is more of what you have, the sapphire jewelry. However, as you can see, you are in a saturated niche, which means that you're gonna have to do the grunt work of researching keywords, and you're gonna have to take the time to research and research and research, which is, it could be a little bit hard sometimes, but if you spend the necessary time, you should be able to find keywords. My suggestion before you add any additional listings is, I always tell people, make sure that you research your market first before you create a product or a website or a e-commerce store. You have to make sure that you verify first to make sure that this is not a saturated market. If it is, then you're gonna have to take that risk of, okay, so do I still sell these items even though I'm in a saturated market, or do I find something else that is not in a saturated market that I could start making money sooner? And this one is going to give you a little bit more work because of all the competition that you have. As you can see, there are some that are in green in low competition. Amber sapphire, but yours is not amber. Sapphire hairpiece, this is not a sapphire hairpiece. So as you can see, is a little bit of a struggle to find keywords. However, you're just gonna have to keep playing with this until you find what precisely describes your item. Now, I don't know if your sapphire is a teardrop. If it was, or if it is, this will be a good one, but not 100% sure because I'm not in the jewelry section, so I'm not an expert in this part. Shaded sapphire, I don't know if you have any in your listings that could benefit from that keyword. Blue star sapphire, I don't. This one obviously is yellow. So as you can see, is something that it is a little bit hard. So you could put sapphire, yellow jewelry. Keep playing with it. Keep playing with the color, the size, the shape of it. If it has a particular name, put that in there, and keep doing that, and keep doing that, and keep doing that until you find actual keywords that you can use. You want to make sure that you use keywords that are low in competition and medium in competition. If you use medium competition, I highly recommend at least using keywords that are 6,000 listings or less. That way you could at least try to rank organically, because I have found that the listings that have over 10,000 listings and they're like medium competition, they're still hard to rank for. But as of now, minimum jewelry, I don't think that that actually goes with what you're selling. So it's starting to become a little bit hard to find. Canary jello, I mean, you could kind of play with that one. However, is it really describing your item? Are you really targeting um, someone as a target audience? You're not, because it could be pretty much anything. This one will be a good one if you have an orange sapphire ring. That's perfect because it's very low in competition. So you have to keep doing this until you find one that describes your item. As you can see, there are some that we have been able to find. It's just that they don't fit that particular listing that you have. But you're gonna have to just come here, put the keyword of just describing that item, and keep researching until you start finding keywords. Once you find the keywords, then you want to come in here, you want to type them here. You want to make sure that you put as many keywords as you can on the title, and you want to separate them like you did yours with commas. So just put all the keywords here. Make sure that you put the keywords, you put the main keyword in the first 160 characters. And main keyword is meaning is the keyword that you find that kind of that describes your item to the T. That's the one that you're going to use as your main one. You will put it in the beginning here, and then you will put it here, which is your meta description. So your meta description basically is a snippet that Google shows, or the search engine shows to people when they type in, let's say, yellow sapphire. And this is how it looks. This is the snippet. So right now your snippet is not that great, because this right here where I highlighted it is called the meta description. And in order for someone to click on this listing when they searched it on Google, you want to make sure that you have an enticing meta description. That way people could click on it and go to your shop. So you are going to have to rewrite that again and make sure that you include your main keyword in that meta description, and you want to put it here. So remember that your first 160 characters will be displayed on the search engine, whether it's Google, Bing, Yahoo, and etc. Now, once you have all your tags, you also want to use all 13 on the bottom, and make sure that you put them here. Make sure that you are consistent with using your tags throughout your listing description. That's an on-page SEO factor, and that's how Google or any search engine understands what your page is about. So it's important that you do that. So now you updated your photos, you did the grunt work of finding keywords. The next thing you want to do is the listing description. And the listing description, I always tell people, basically builds credibility and it closes out your sale. So you want to make sure that the listing description has everything and anything the buyer might have a question about. You want to make sure that you write, you make sure that you put the size, the measurement, the color of the item, whether you accept returns, exchanges, or cancellation. That you write the shipping policy, and that you write it in great depth. And by including all these elements on your listing description, it's going to help avoid confusion, unnecessary messages to your inbox. It's going to help you build credibility with buyers. And the most important part is going to close out the sale. Right now, I feel like you did do a good job of separating it. I like the fact that you have like the little separations. I think it's so much easier to read it when you have it that way than when you just have like a big paragraph. So I do like that. So my only suggestion would be at the bottom here, I would add like a backlink. And a backlink basically is you take this here, so you take from here down, you copy that, and you put it down here. So you could say, thank you for stopping by, and then put the link there. And what that does is that when somebody finishes reading down here, they won't click on the back button, leaving your site or leaving your Etsy shop. They would just click there. That would take them to the main homepage, almost like what you have here. I will put it, that same link, I will put it down here. And what that does is it keeps them longer in your shop. And the longer the person stays in your shop, the higher the potential of them buying something from you. So I definitely recommend that. And the last thing I want to talk about is the curation of your shop. So the curation of your shop is making sure that you have a location, you did that you have a cute tagline, you did that, so that's a good job. You do have a picture of yourself, which is great. And you do have a profile logo, and you have a banner. I actually don't mind your banner. I think it's very pretty. What I highly recommend is dressing up your storefront a little bit more and taking it to the next level. And if you were to look at the most prominent shops out there, they have amazing cover photos. Like they have the cover photo, they have the website page, they have their hours of operation, they have their social media links, they have so that's nice. It's taking it to a whole different level. It looks like a really a real business. Um, and those people do not overlook small details. That's the most important thing. Is taking the time to fill out, everything about your shop, paying attention to details, making sure that everything flows the same. So I want to be able to see this picture and this one and say, oh, they come from the same shop. If it doesn't look that way, it is branding 101. You want to make sure that everything is cohesive, that everything goes together. So right now you have a little bit of everything. This could be from one store, this could be a different store, this could be a different store, and that could be a different store. So it right now doesn't look cohesive. So I definitely do recommend that when you start taking your photos, that all your photos have the same background, same elements, same colors, that everything flows together, whether it is that you put like your little logo here, like a little watermark, whatever it is, but you want to make sure that they all flow together and that it all looks like it's coming from the same shop. That's very crucial for the branding purposes of your shop. Now, I do see that your reviews, you've done a pretty good job with them. So obviously people are satisfied with what they're buying from your shop. So that's a good thing. I don't really have anything to say about your reviews because you've done a good job with it. I do like the update section. I think that you did a really good job. I actually like these pictures. It showcases the items really well. Like this one is a beautiful ring. So you did a really good job with that. Your about me section could benefit a little bit more by just telling your story. It's important that you say who you are, why they should buy from you, especially people that are international buyers, like they're in the US like I am. Might find it difficult to buy from someone that's so far away, especially like me. I've never bought anything from Thailand, even though I think it would be cool, right? Depending on what I'm buying. So I think it's necessary that you tell your story so people could connect with you, so they could relate to you, so they could be like, oh, okay, and then they could build that story of who you are and tell them why you got started and what's your passion and what got you involved in Etsy and if you sell anywhere else and things like that. It's just a really good way to connect with people. Definitely you did a good job with the shipping. I feel like you should include this on your listing description. But overall, you have taken the time to fill out your policy, your about me. The only one would be that needs a little bit of update is the about me section. Everything else, you've done a decent job, to be honest with you. I was kind of reviewing your shop earlier, and you've done more than some of the other critiques that I have done. So you're doing pretty good there. So let's go ahead and look at your other links that you provided. So let's get out of here. So you have your Facebook page. I like that. It's cohesive with your Etsy. If I click here, I know that that's your store because you have the same timeline and you have the same profile. Once you update, if you were to update your banner, I highly recommend updating it here as well. I will leave a link below to a website where you could pay somebody to create a really nice banner for you. And they do it as low as $5. So you could really find someone with an affordable budget and they do it for you. I highly recommend posting on a regular basis. I see that, for instance, this one says August 22nd. This one says July 6th. So it looks like you had gone in between months, excuse me, without posting. It's important that you are consistent with posting every day, because that's how social media works. If you stop posting, people will not like your page or they will unfollow because you're not putting all the time fresh new things on your page. So you have to post on a consistent basis. You do have your Etsy link, which is great. And you have a description of your item, but you have to make sure that you post on a consistent basis and not just post about buying, but you could post like Follow Friday and have all your social media links. You could post your story every now and then, because as you start growing new followers, don't assume that everybody knows who you are. So that's why it's important that you reintroduce yourself to new people that follow you at that given moment. Now, Pinterest, I know you asked me how you could grow it. I grew my Pinterest account. Right now is actually over 300,000. It just doesn't show it there because there is a delay. I'm on Pinterest all the time. But as you can see, this is my Pinterest account. And right now it's at 301,000. And this is monthly views. And for this month, I have been able to drive over 1,500 people click to go to my Etsy shop. I highly recommend. And Pinterest, basically you have to pin at the best times when people are actually the most active. So what I use is a software called Tailwind. I will leave a link below. You sign up with them, you put your pins right in the software, and they'll pin it at the best times when people are more active in Pinterest. The nice thing about Pinterest is that it's evergreen. So once someone repins your item and they repin it and then 20 more people repin it, it keeps going, and it could actually go viral. Um, the key with Pinterest is pinning a lot, pinning every single day, and then also pinning to groups. So joining Pinterest groups that have the same interests like jewelry or fashion, and then pinning your items in there every single day. A lot of those groups have over 20, 30,000 people. So you get eyes, on one item that you pin, potentially 20,000 people could see it. So you definitely want to. If you don't know how to use it, it's a lot of technicology in the beginning, but I do have videos that I explain how to use Pinterest, how to grow it. I highly recommend watching it because it does take time to explain it, but it is so worth it. I think out of Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram and Twitter, I like Pinterest first, Twitter second, Instagram third, and then Facebook fourth. Now, do I recommend you opening a Twitter? Yes, I do, because there are people that use Pinterest but they don't use Twitter. There's people that use Twitter then don't use Facebook. There's people that use Facebook that don't use Instagram. So you do want to have your shop in every major or large social media platform. And those are the largest ones right now. So you definitely do want an account on each one to promote your business, to grow your brand. You have to take your business serious, and those are one of the things that you have to do. Let's look at your Instagram. Your Instagram looks pretty. Because you do have, all the stones, and they're clear. There are clear pictures. So I will give you that your pictures are really pretty. This one actually is really nice. Now, what I do recommend again is having a cohesive look, that when somebody looks at your pictures, they flow really well, that they all go together. Highly recommend using all 30 hashtags. So whenever you post, use 30. Don't use 10 or 5 or 6. Use all 30, because the more hashtags you use, the more potential looks that you will get at your items, and the more people will shop. Make sure that you put your personal stamp on this. Don't just post. For instance, this is my Instagram. So I post pictures of my baby. I just posted about my anniversary. I post another picture of my baby. So you want to make it business oriented, but you also want to make sure that you post personal things about yourself so people could get to know you. I posted when I was pregnant. So these are things that people could relate to you, they could get to know you. And it's just nice to do that, and people um, will make a connection with you. So it's really, really important that you start thinking out the box and creating a social media calendar a month before, and thinking about holidays and what you could post, and making sure that you post your face and yourself and you talk about who you are. And that's how you grow your social media. If you're just posting about your business all the time, like selling, and you don't engage and you're not social, it will be very hard for you to grow it. Um, so these are my tips for your Etsy shop. I hope that this tutorial came in handy. If this is your first time watching, please go ahead and like this video, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful night.